What's up everyone? I had a question related with air rooting. Why I prefer to do air rooting. Again, it completely depends upon you. If you want to air root, you can. If you do not want to and you want to put it directly into the soil, you can do that too. But with air rooting, I have always found success, so I always tend to go with this method. Now I'll tell you the benefits of air rooting, but before that, what ideally people do is they do a cutting. Let's say they have let it callus for 2 to 3 days and then they take the succulent and put it into the soil. Now this is fine, you can do that if you want, but you need to remember you cannot water it right away because there are no roots present. The whole purpose of roots is to absorb moisture from the soil, but over here, because there are no roots present, and if you're going to water it, the succulent will not be able to absorb that moisture until the roots develop. Even after the roots develop, it takes some days for it to get functional. And it's not that once the roots appear, they will soon start to function. They will take another couple days for them to function into proper roots. So let's say that you have calloused the succulent and now you have put it into the soil. So you will have to wait until the roots appear. Now, if you have put the succulent into the soil, it is going to be very difficult for you to understand when the roots have appeared because the roots are going to appear beneath the soil. Now here there is an issue because you're not aware the roots have come or not. What you might end up doing is taking out the succulent from the soil to check if the roots have appeared or not. Let's say if the roots have not appeared, you will push it back into the soil. Now again, next time you are going to pull it out from the soil to check the roots. Probably this time the roots have appeared, so now you again push it back into the soil. So during this entire process of taking it out from the soil, pushing it back into the soil, the succulent will get damaged. Even the roots, the new roots that are just coming up, they are very fragile and they will get damaged due to the friction of pulling out the succulent from the soil. So this is why what I prefer to do is I keep it aside in indirect bright light. Again, I'm not very sure how long will it take for the roots to appear. If you have seen, the pup of this ruffles have not generated any roots yet, but the mother plant has generated roots, as you can see. So now because the roots have appeared, I don't have to be worried. I don't need to air root it any longer. I can put it into the soil like this. And now I will fill it up with some more soil until all of those roots are beneath the soil. Push the soil and always remember, do not put pressure. This is another best thing about air rooting, because when you air root, you can just place the succulent and then fill it up with soil. So you're not putting any pressure on those new roots. You're not pushing the succulent in. You have just placed the succulent inside the pot and then you have filled it up with some gritty succulent soil mix, and then you just shake the pot so that everything settles down and you can see the roots are completely beneath the soil. That is exactly how we want our succulent to be planted. So you can see it is pretty simple. Let it air root, let there be a good amount of roots, and then you can plant it into the soil. Now watering, because we have just put it into the soil, the succulent does not look like it is extremely dehydrated. There is enough water in the leaves, so we can wait for another 4-5 days as well. This succulent is going to be kept in indirect bright light for, let's say, another week or so, and then I will slowly start introducing it to morning direct sunlight. I think you might have already seen the video of how I acclimate my succulents to morning direct sunlight. So it's a very, very simple and easy process. Now, as I mentioned earlier, some people put the succulent directly into the soil without letting it air root. Again, there is nothing wrong with that. But the only issue is that you cannot water it right away because you have to wait for the roots to appear. Now, you might have also heard that moisture helps generate roots. Well, it is true in majority of the plants, but with succulents, it can be 50-50. For example, it may root with moisture or it may start to rot. I have had issues before wherein I used to do the stem cutting, wait for it to callus, and then I used to put it into the soil. After probably a week or so, I used to go ahead and water it, and I have noticed that my stems used to rot with that process. So hence I came out with this process of air rooting. So again, there is a 50-50 chance. At times the succulent might root with moisture in the soil, and at times it might happen to rot. The stem might happen to rot because there are no roots present. Because in other plants like pothos, philodendrons, monsteras, this is a very common thing. We do a stem cutting and we put it into the water, and that is very fine with foliage plants. But these are succulents. They are completely opposite to our foliage plants. So hence, to be on the safer side, we do not want to take that 50-50 chance, because at times you might have a bad day and the stem might start to rot. And this has happened to me before. This is what I have learned, and that's why I started with this process of air rooting. So ever since I started this air rooting process, I never had any stem rot issues. So this works out really well. Now that it has got a good amount of roots, probably after a week or so, the roots will start to increase in size. They will get more established, and then we can treat it like our regular succulent. We do not need to be worried. We do not need to pull out the succulent from the pot to check the roots, because the roots are already present. That's it for today, guys. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.